right. So originally, you weren't born in Louisiana. You were born out of state. Where were you from originally?
Newburgh, New York. That's upstate.
Upstate New York. And then you moved out when you were a little child, huh?
When I was 12.
12 years old? Mm-hmm. Where'd y'all come down to?
Baton Rouge.
Okay. And you stayed here since then?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going back home, you know, visiting and stuff like that, but yeah.
Yeah, been a resident of Baton Rouge ever since. Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of that time before you moved as a little child?
Oh yeah, I can remember well when I was young. Actually, when I was around 4, you know, that's when I had wrote my first song. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I was inspired by Michael Jackson, and which he inspired a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I wrote my first song. It was called I was a big Bugs Bunny fan. Mm-hmm. And it was it was called "What's Up, Doc."
Uh-huh.
I remember the hook, but I can't remember the verses. Yeah.
And it was like rap style. Rap was hot back then. Just getting around the streets. I would have assumed.
Rap was just in the streets then. You know, I remember going to Mount St. Mary's, which is a college in my hood, and that they used to have the parties up in there. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? They had this crew called DOC and Company. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I knew everybody in the clique. Shout out to them. And as a kid, you know, we was going to the parties, and I used to see, you know, watch them, and you know, it was just overwhelming. And I used to see myself on the stage singing and all that type of stuff, you know. But I think around that time I was about 6. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? 7. You know.
6 and 7, you were hanging around with all these older cats watching them do their thing.
Yeah, it was parties. They was throwing parties, and they was the entertainment.
Yeah.
DOC and Company. It's a rap group, a rap clip, and he had Kid Nice, who's the legend. He was the DJ. He had Charlie Rock. He had Eddie On. He had those are the ones that I remember. I might, you know, I mean, by names right now.
Sure,
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? But I'm sure there was more because I knew my boy Fly Ty was affiliated with him, and my brother-in-law, R.I.P. Chauncey Chill, his rap style was incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wow.
So you were watching these guys at a young age, an impressionable age.
Yes.
And you're like, that's where I'm gonna be next. That's what I'm gonna do next.
That's what made me want to start rapping.
Yeah.
Around that age. And so I was rapping and singing. You know, I was getting it together, you know. And as the years go on, I just kept doing my thing, just getting better with my craft and just doing it. Eventually, we moved down here.
What year is that? Because I want to place this in the timeline.
That was 78?
78?
Yeah.
Okay.
78.
All right. And so, I mean, rap, honestly, is still in its infancy at that time.
Right. Rap it was out where we were, where we're from.
Right.
Because everybody was doing it. You know? But nationally, down south,
right. Nothing.
Wasn't there unless somebody moved from New York like I did.
Yeah.
And like MC Shy D did from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's same story, but I think I moved to the South before him. And that's what it was.
I remember him on Q93. He was a little kid. He had a little kid voice on Q93.
Right.
That's funny.
Right.
Before y'all moved, because you said you moved at the age of 12, right?
Right.
So I mean, you were coming up, not quite into your own, but coming up.
Right.
Did you have relatives down here in Louisiana?
In the South.
You did?
Yeah, in Memphis.
Oh, okay, in Memphis.
In Memphis.
All right, but not down in Louisiana?
Not in Louisiana.
Yeah,
no.
Okay. I know sometimes, the reason I asked, sometimes rap kind of migrated out through way a cassette tape being mailed to other people, relatives in other states, you know. And
stuff like that too, right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our relatives did that, and a lot of our people back home did that.
Sure.
You know, they probably had relatives down south.
Yeah.
You know, but still, it wasn't here.
It took a long time for information to get out back then.
Yeah. When we got here, it wasn't here. When we just left from up there, the Sugar Hill Gang came out.
Okay.
Rapper's Delight.
That's right.
It didn't get here until '79.
Okay.
Look how long it took to get here.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so, but we had it. I mean, matter of fact, when we came here, my brother and them, you know, lied to the people and said we were the Sugar Hill Gang. and was rapping their song, and people believed that we were really them. And when it came out, they really believed it until they see these pictures.
That was it. The gig was up, huh?
Gig is up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you get here, it's, you said 78, is that right?
78.
78, you get here, 78, Baton Rouge. You got something new to bring, which you got something new to bring to the table down here.
Right.
Where are you hanging out? Who are your friends at that point? Just moving here, you got to meet new people.
Yeah, because they're all witnesses. I got one cat that I first friended when came down here. His name is Louis Francois, and we're still like brothers. Mm-hmm. And he knew, just growing up with us down here, he knew we could rap and all that stuff. He knew we could dance, and he even called on, from being around us.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. We used to go to the skating ring, Leo skating ring on North Street. And that's when they was lying to us. We was the Sugar Hill Gang and all that type of stuff, and taking these cats' girls, and they was getting mad. I was young. I wasn't really doing the girl thing. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I was a little, I was young. My brothers and them kept me innocent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And but my brothers and them were all three of them. And I'm trying to say that these cats got mad when they found out that we wasn't the Sugar Hill Gang, and they crowded us. Yeah. They didn't crowd me. Yeah, I was a little boy. They wasn't going to touch me.
12 years, 13 years old, you kind of playing both sides of the fence at that time. You're still mama's baby, but you're trying to get up out of here.
Right. And, but my brother told me to run because there was only three of us at that time.
Yeah.
We normally be about 7, 8 of us.
Yeah.
So they caught us slipping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How many brothers you got?
Right now I got 4 brothers because I got a little brother now. He's a twin.
Okay. So but back then it
wasn't he wasn't there though.
Right. It was 3 brothers at the time and yourself.
It was I had 3 brothers, but one was still in New York. Okay. He came, but then he went back. Because him and my stepdad couldn't really get along. He was my oldest brother, and so he went back home. So me and my other 2 brothers stayed, and they're older than me too. I was the baby for 15 years.
What's the age difference?
My little brother and sister, 15 years apart.
Back then, the 2 that were.
My brother before me is a year and something older than me, and then the brother after him is a year older than him. Okay. And then my oldest brother is a year older than him.
Y'all pretty close together in age.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have my sister's the oldest though, and she's and then she's a year older than my older brother.
So, all right, so that was the genesis of your music career was New York all the way.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you came down here, it just continued, but it was in different atmospheres. It wasn't in colleges, it was at skating rinks and other gatherings for kids. Right. Was it still an older crowd that you were hanging around? You found yourself around?
I've always hung with, my brothers. They're older than me, so, but it came to a point where, one of my brothers, he did a bid. He went to jail. The one before me, he did 25, but he went to jail in 82, so he was gone. And then I told you my other brother, he went to the service in 81. Oh, that's right. So I was by myself. Yeah. In 82, I was by myself in 82.
2 years, 3 years. You had enough time to establish roots down here, though.
Oh yeah.
So to speak, with find your own crowd and all that stuff.
When I first got here, cats was jealous, when I came down here to 7th grade, they was just, cats was jealous because I was who I was. And, and all the girls like me, I'm fresh, all that stuff.
Yeah, fresh meat.
Accent, just everything. And then I brought all this talent with me, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was, the cats was jealous, man. But anyway.
What was the outlet at the time? Were you able to do anything, DJing, rapping, any of that stuff?
I was the first DJ down here at the age of 15, and I did a party off of Airline Highway. It used to be called Showcase. I think it was something like that, Showcase Pizza, something like that. And I was 15 at the time, and I was the first one to do that, to throw a party at a different, like a place like that. Not everybody do it now, what I'm saying? But back then, first DJ do that.
15 years old. How did you line that up? You went approach the owner and said, "Let me rent this place out," or what?
No, man. I'm trying to remember really, but it was so far back. I think what it was, a friend of mine named Melbo from out of Fairfields, he hooked that up for me.
Okay.
He hooked it up for me. And he's like, hey man, why don't you do this and do that? I said, yeah. I said, I'll do that. Let's do it.
Now, to back it up a little bit, what were your genres, your musical inspiration? What were you hearing in the house as a child, coming from, like your mother's music collection, your father's music collection? You had brothers and sisters too, so I'm sure it was all over the map.
Old school, man. I'm an old school fanatic, because that's what I grew up listening to. As a kid, as a child, coming up, man, my mama, if she ain't playing it, my sister playing it, my brothers, they was too busy, out there. I had the one brother, he was cool, he was a school kid, he was good, mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? But my other two, my oldest brother and a brother before me, they was in the streets.
Yeah.
my oldest brother before me, when he was 8 years old, he was driving because he was, in the mix with the older cats that, training the younger cat type of thing.
Yeah.
And I seen his direction, man, and he came down here, and unfortunately, he didn't. He was doing the wrong thing.
Didn't last long. But so, what were your parents? What kind of artists? You could name a few your parents were listening to. Or what were you hearing as a child?
Yeah, my bad. Shoot, you name it, man. One of my favorite songs is by Major Harris, because I always play that. And love won't let me win. That's one of my favorite songs, man. So I grew up listening to that. That song woke me up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, yeah, that song woke me up a lot of times because my mama wasn't blasting it, my sister was blasting it. And then you had, Gladys Knight, Earth, Wind and Fire. You just name them, the OJs, some Luther. Let me see. When Luther was with that other band.
Look at me. No, I don't know.
Okay, you're right. Before Luther went solo.
I just know Luther's Luther. I don't know.
He was with a group before he went solo.
So it's R&B.
Teddy Pendergrass, all them. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Blue Notes,
Teddy, the Stylistics.
Yeah.
You name them, man.
So it was soul music and R&B music, heavy.
In my house.
And all right, so you got the soul and R&B background, and before you left, you were starting to hear rap. Now, it was kind of fused together because they were using the breakdowns from the soul and R&B tracks for their sets. Right. And, okay, so you bring down kind of an amalgamation of both of those, and it stays with you. When you were DJing, you're DJing for 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Right. What are you playing at that point? Because the next step doesn't exist yet. Rap don't really exist yet, so what are you playing?
Oh, no, rap was out then. In 80, in that when I was 15, that was in 82.
Okay.
Right? That was in 82. When I was 15.
82.
Right.
Yeah.
So African Bambaataa was out
on a national level though. You had just a few. Run DMC came out.
Run DMC wasn't out yet.
Early.
They came out in 83.
83.
Yeah, this was 82. But you had people like Nucleus. Jam On It.
Yeah.
Jam On It.
It was still dance music.
I mean, well, not Jam On It, but you had Wiggy.
Yeah.
All that stuff coming. But you had a lot of groups coming out of New York like Africa Bambaataa on that style. Around that period, around 82. It was like that era.
Yeah, it was dance music, but it was totally different than what your mom and dad were ever listening to.
It wasn't nothing like that. But but that's what I was playing for them.
So what's the next step? Where do you go from there? You do that for a while, 15, 16, 17, 18. You like DJing. You wrote a song already as a child, but hadn't really explored that just yet. What's the next step in the evolution of man?
Well, in the 80s, like Tokyo in 82, that's when I ran into Iceman at WLCS, and we clicked. So, things just going on, I'm, just doing what I do. I'm living, still doing my craft and stuff. And in summer of 83, I went home. And that's when Run DMC, and as soon as I made it there, Run DMC was on radio. It's like they dropped the same day I made it there. And, and everybody was going crazy over that. It just took them by storm. And while I was there, then I got to realize there was more talent there than just Run DMC.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's when the Fat Boys was going around doing shows and stuff. Before they even came out, I knew who they was because I went back home and they was doing shows and stuff. Okay. They haven't came out yet though, nationally, right? So a lot of them, man, like that. When I went back there in '83, and then before you know it, they all became. I'm talking about Houdini, all them. Before they bust out, you know what I'm saying? Then they bust out, and I was like, okay, good, and had all that stuff for this cat, and that made him more popular. You know what I'm saying? Because I was giving them stuff that nobody was getting, and it wasn't coming here no time soon.
How long did you stay up there?
I go up there for the summer. Yeah, it was like a summer visit.
And you come back with everything you could find.
All the mixtapes, everything.
Yeah. Back then up there, you could probably just tape the radio and bring down something they never heard of.
Yeah, because we was doing that too. Yeah. WBLS with Mr. Magic and Marley Marl. Yeah.
All right, and visiting up there, coming back down here, still DJing. What marks a transformation into exploring different things? Because you kind of stepped away from singing, but now you're back to singing to today, you know what I'm saying? So what was the genesis for the change?
For me to change from rapper to singer?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go up there? You want to go way up there? Because I'm going to take you up there and then we got to come back.
Well, how far down the road?
That was 2006.
Oh, okay.
That's when I transitioned from when I just stopped rapping and.
Well, let's stay with the rap stuff, and then we'll get to that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That's a big gap. I don't try to jump that far.
Right.
Your Tarantino film, you're like, where are we?
Right.
So walk me a little bit further. You coming back with stuff that people have never heard of. Right.
I'm talking all that stuff, man. That Fat Boy stuff, the Houdini stuff, everything. Because I was going home every summer. Mm-hmm. I'm 84. I'm bringing stuff back. 86. That's when Rakim came out. Yes. I'm bringing all that stuff back. Yeah, man. Yeah. But at the same time, I was doing my thing down here.
Now, what did that consist of? It's still DJing?
I was in '83 when I hooked up with the Iceman. I said, and I thought about Marley Marl and Mr. Magic, how they do their thing on the radio, and I seen was nobody really doing it down here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, let me hook up with Ice. And I wrote this song called The Fresh Mix. And it was talking about me and the Iceman. And he liked it so much, he made it his theme song before he come on. Mm-hmm. And I was using that Run DMC beat, Sucker MC. And they loved it so much they made it the hottest song on the radio to where they put it in the mix and it was in rotation. Yeah, and that was my first song on the radio in '83.
How did you meet him?
Through the radio station.
You met him through the radio station?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I knew Jazzmore was the DJ.
Okay, the previous DJ
before him.
The previous
DJ before him, gotcha. And he was the one to replace Jazzmore. So they started using him here and there and there and there and there until Jazzmore got ready to leave, and then he took over Jazzmore's spot. So I was already affiliated with them, but not really with him, but with Jazzmore.
Because of the previous DJ, you knew the previous DJ,
right.
So you'd be around there.
Right.
Got to meet the new cat coming in.
Right.
He's more open to rap. You're bringing him material.
Right.
All right, dipping your feet in, trying to see where you belong in there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I guess that had just encouraged you unbelievably to keep trying, keep doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause I met him over the phone first. You know what I'm saying? And then I went down there. And that's when it just clicked up. And then he didn't live too far from me.
Yeah.
So I could just walk up the street to his house once I realized where he lived at. Mm-hmm. And he's over there. He got this one room where he have his turntable set up, and that's where he played his music and stuff when he at home chilling. He turned me on to a lot of good music, like Michael Franks. He turned me on to Michael Franks. I've been listening to Michael Franks ever since. He turned me on to a lot of good jazz, Earl Klugh, Kenny G. Yeah. He turned me on to a lot of that good music, man, back in the day.
I got you. Now, what becomes Iceman's interest in working with you? Like, to what degree? What do y'all end up doing?
Well, I became, we'd travel together. You know what I'm saying? I was like his MC. He'll let me get on the mic, do my thing, boom, boom, boom. I'll bust a rap or I'll blow the beatbox. Mm-hmm. Nobody was really, because Fat Boys ain't came out till '84. Right? '84.
I know eras. I don't know specific dates.
85. Nationally, they came out, I think, it was 84, 85. It was one of them. I know Crush Groove came out in 85. And that's when they introduced all of them in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you seen Crush Groove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Several times.
Well, that was,
I got the Fat Boys cassette tape in my house somewhere, probably in the attic
I need to get a copy
or the garage.
Is that, yeah, I need to get a copy of that, man. So, you know, around that time, when I put my first record out and Boo Boo and the popularity grew, I'm traveling with Iceman, we going to high schools, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Now he was working at the radio station as a regular DJ.
Right.
They would have him on. All right, so and he's spinning songs and doing some cutting and scratching in between. Like, how was that working?
He wasn't really cutting just yet on the radio. He wasn't. I can't really remember him doing that on the radio. But I can, you know, in the clubs.
Yeah.
He had this club we went to called Images, man. He was a DJ there every night, man. And, you know, we eventually he formed this little thing called the Ice Pack. You know what I'm saying? And that was what we were called at the time. And it just went from there.
Yeah.
You know, just went from there.
All right, so it became easy for you to try out new material. It probably inspired you to write as well.
Right.
So I mean, he was real instrumental in your kind of coming into your own, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I fell away from the Ice Pack sometime in '84. You know what I'm saying? Because you know me, I'm a trendsetter. I'm trying to make things. I don't really follow. You know, I try to be a leader, because that's what I'm used to.
Sure.
You know? So, you know, I broke away from them and got more into my dancing. You know, but that was in '83, you know, when my dancing, you know, and I won my first talent show and all that type of stuff, and we started winning a lot of stuff. My homeboy, Michael Ashia, he's dead now, you know, R.I.P. to Mike. You know, he was my partner. We just won just about everything. Nobody could beat us, man.
Yeah.
And we lost one event, right? And then these other cats tied us up. You know, it was a tie, you know, that type of thing. So, but other than that, me and him, we was killing it, man. Nobody could beat us. Nobody. I'm talking when it comes to the pop lock routines and all that, we was killing them, man.
And where was this taking place? What kind of functions? Who was
like they used to do these basketball things, you know, these 1-on-1 things or these 3-on-3s and stuff like that, and they would have contests. This is when pop locking was, you know, really just jumping off. And everybody loved it. They wanted to see it. And I mean, talent shows, other events, you know, people was to book us to come dance and all that type of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Those were some good times back then.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so at this time, Iceman was still doing the same thing. You just kind of moved on into a different area for a while.
Right.
What came after the experiences that what came of the experiences that you gained dancing with competitions? I mean, there's things that you pick up during the course of your life that maybe they're not relevant at that time, but you take note, you don't forget, and you end up using them down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, when I started rapping, really got into the rap, I left the dancing alone. It was over for me. And I started paying more attention to my rap craft and the music craft. And that's what it was.
How old are we talking?
This was and it's like everything started around, you know, either the end of '83 or the beginning of '83 or the end of '84. I mean, the beginning of '84. It was around that time because I formed a group called Reality. And I think the early part of '84, and that's the group, you know, that we got that record deal, and they put our record out in '85. We had won the very first citywide talent show, and what they did was, you know, they auditioned a lot of people, and we were so good that they used us to be. They used us to be the mascots, you know, to take us to all the colleges and high schools to promote the citywide talent show.
Gotcha.
And we were like a group like the Fat Boys. You know, we had this kid named Ernest Smith Jr. We called him Rhythm Rock because he could. I mean, so could I. You know, I think I was actually better, but I let him have that spot. You know what I'm saying? Because I really didn't want to be doing it. And so we were somewhat of the Fat Boys. If you seen us, we would remind you of them. And everywhere they took us to, everywhere, we turned it out, man. People gave us standing ovations, man. I mean, it was wild.
That's cool.
And the place was sold out. It was packed. It was in Southern University's Union Hall. Mm-hmm. It was so many people there. The fire people had to come.
Fire marshal came until you shut it down.
No, they didn't shut it down.
Oh,
they
good.
said no more people can go in.
Oh, I got you.
And they waited out there and made sure no more people. I mean, bruh, I'm talking. The hallway was packed. I mean, you got to come through the doors to get into the Union.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people who know behind the doors in the Union. There's a big old hallway that goes way down to the front door. All that was packed. And they had the doors open where people could just see.
Yeah.
It was wild. And everybody who was somebody at that time who got record deals or whatever coming up out of here eventually later on was in that talent show.
That was the one.
And they saved us for last. And when I tell you, when we came out there, man, them people went crazy, man. And when we got through, they really went crazy. The crowd just erupted. Everybody stood up. And we did that song, Missing Kids, off of that song, off the Fat Boy song. Can you feel it? Boom, 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 boom. That's when we did that Missing Kids song off of that. And I mean, they just went. And that's when these record producers approached us from Royal Shield Records. And they said, hey, man, we want to sign y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so we had a meeting, went down there, met with them, boom, 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 boom. And the rest is history.
Play it out like a movie.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, Kuiper was in that. Everybody was in that talent show back then.
Wow.
You know, B-Lo and them, all of them was in that talent show, man. Anybody who made something out of themselves a day that was around that time.
Sure.
You know, was in that talent show.
Kuiper. That's an old name. He blew up, dude.
Yeah, Kuiper was the first one out of my clique to go gold.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's funny. Because when you think back to the beginning of all of this, it wasn't like, of course it wasn't like the rap we hear today, but it wasn't even like the rap that some people think they know is, I guess, the first style of music for rap. Like rap was born out of dance music, honestly. And they kind of intertwined for a minute and formed its own thing. And
what do you mean by dance music?
Well, I mean, you think about Dr. Dre, like when he got his start, well, before he started his own thing, he was wearing sequins and shoulder pads and playing
tight stuff. He had tight clothes on.
Tight clothes, dance music, but it was like I know I keep saying dance music, but it was like it was the same style coming out of Miami, and it was like it wasn't hip hop like we think of like Run DMC.
Right, no, it wasn't hip hop.
It wasn't like Sugar Hill Gang. It wasn't any of those things. But the DJs came from this previous, dance music that I can't describe too well.
Right, I understand what you're talking about.
It's funny how it changed over time and became something so much harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, rap went from fundamentally hip hop. You know, we talk about parties, having fun, boom, boom, and then it went to rap, turned into rap, and you know that's when your Eazy-E's and all them started coming out. You know, with the gangster rap and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But you had some gangsters in New York, but they just weren't nationally known. You know, like Eazy and when they came out, but and then here comes the trap music.
Yeah. It's forked off 50 times since then. But you bring up a good point. I remember as a child, I started off with rap music. To me was Run DMC. I had the Run DMC cassette, and I had, like I told you, the Fat Boys Crushing cassette.
All that was fundamental.
And that was rap to me. And then it seemed like, because you got to realize, when NWA came out, it changed, in my eyes, rap forever.
Oh, it did.
Now rap did this.
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't just a fad. It launched a whole new vein, and it became something different. Now rap is not just rap anymore. They got gangster rap, and they got hip hop, and then they got conscious rap after that. Like there's so many different branches on this tree.
You know why gangster rap did what it did and still doing what it's doing, it's because Easy and them was the first ones to go national talking about killing each other and selling dope.
Yeah.
So that, I believe that's the image that the industry wanted us to have, because they felt like, you know,
drama sells more records.
Yeah.
Fuck the police and all that other
all
stuff.
That, yeah. Right. You know, now it's to the point where we're not actually just talking about killing each other, we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we were killing each other anyway before, I'm gonna say before Eazy-E.
Sure.
It wasn't just at the rate that it is now.
Right.
You know, it's
well, people are emulating now. It's getting glorified and imitated by people online.
And these youngsters, that's what they believe in.
Yeah.
You know, they believe in that, man, and they feeling like, you know, I'm like, come on, man, don't y'all want to live?
Right.
You know, what's really going on? I mean, y'all don't want to live?
Yeah.
And that's all I keep hearing myself saying, but y'all don't want to live? Living life is the best gift of all.
Yeah.
You know, why would you want to die?
Right.
You know, and not be here anymore? You know, leave your loved ones and you know, leave that pain on them, because they in pain. When they, you know, when you get killed, your loved ones they the ones gonna suffer.
Yeah, there's nothing left. There's nothing left of you.
But a memory.
Yeah. What were you able to do with your intentions, with your message? What were you able to do after that talent competition?
We got the deal. We signed the deal. We were on CNN.
And it was Royal Shield, you said?
Royal Shield Records.
Uh-huh.
And we were on CNN, and this lady, Joanne Courier, who was the founder of the Missing Children Foundation, or Child Keepers Foundation. That's what it was, I'm sorry. And she was best friends of Nancy Reagan at the time, because Ronald Reagan was the president. And, you know, like I said, we was on CNN. I wish I could get that footage. You know, is there any way I can dig in them archives and
somebody get that? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it was a big thing, man. And the governor's assistant or whoever they were came and awarded us with a plaque and stuff and all of that. It was a big thing, man. We was the first hit Billboard down here. It's like everywhere that song went. And then Atlanta child murders was happening. I don't know if you don't remember that, but it's called Atlanta Child Murders. You can Google it, whatever. And that was going on at the time. And so the song never got a chance really to break nationally because of some things that was going on, and the owner pulled it. But before he pulled it, the song was going everywhere, man. And it was like #1 on a radio station in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. We did these PSAs, public service announcements, because back then the children was being taken everywhere. And but the child murder thing was happening in Atlanta. And I knew if that song would have hit Atlanta, the time all that was going on,
right,
it would have just
come an anthem. Yeah. What do you think happened for real? Like, do you think the issue overshadowed the song itself, or? Yeah,
it did, because it was money involved, and you know, from what I heard, you know, I ain't gonna say nobody's name or nothing like that.
So it was a back end issue, like a business issue. It wasn't like a national issue where. No,
it wasn't a national issue. It was an in-house issue.
In-house. That's a good way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was, and you know, $100,000 came up missing.
Okay.
You know, but before that happened, Iceman was one of the DJs. They had him in LA in place to break the song with the top radio station out there. They had him set up in New York, Atlanta. They had him set up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just about to break, and it was crazy because I think the day before they was gonna break it, that's when he pulled it.
Oh man.
Everybody came back.
Yeah.
I said, wow, we was that close.
Right.
I said, and then when we cut that record, every major label wanted us. Every major label. Even the Missing Kids Foundation said they wanted to take the song, press it up, make it their national anthem, and distribute it worldwide for us.
Imagine that.
And these same people that was involved with taking the money, said no, turned everybody down, and was thinking about their pockets.
Yeah.
Thinking about how much money they could make if when they seen all this happening.
Yeah.
And pulled it. They made the wrong move when they took the money. If they wouldn't have took the money, I think we all would have got paid.
Right, right.
They just kept making bad decisions, man.
Now, how did you find out that everything was shut down at that point, so to speak?
Through the Homer Schiller, the owner himself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, the label is no more, or your particular deal is no more, or the whole label?
You know how long ago that was?
Yeah.
But Homer Schiller passed, his son, everything went down to his son. So, and he just, I mean, everything's out of business. You know, because he had a Purple Shield insurance company. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And when Homer passed away, everything, I mean, but yeah, everything just...
So what do you do at that point? How old are you now? You're like 17, 18?
I was about 19, right? 19. And at the time, Homer was ready to do something with me solo. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember, for some reason, that didn't even go through. I don't know. I'm trying to remember why that didn't even go through. But, you know, I think I was 19 at the time. But then eventually I just, after that happened, I just took a break.
For sure.
No, I didn't take a break then. I'm sorry. I thought we was talking about the other deal that I got after that. But after that happened, I just kept moving. I just kept going on, you know, just doing things, you know, my craft, winning talent shows and stuff still. They be having a...
I would have thought you would have took a break, honestly, because that's discouraging to see things fall apart in your hands, you know?
You know, I guess it really didn't affect me like that because, you know, I was who I was, and I'm going to still keep doing what I do. You know, okay, this ain't happening no more. It was good while it lasted, but I went on tour with some of the biggest stars. You know what I'm saying? For like 6 months. Yeah. You know, in '86. You know?
That's a lot. That's a lot. For somebody starting out, that's necessary to see how the pros do, you know? Right. So where did you go from there if you didn't take a break? What were you doing next?
Touring. We was on this 6-month tour with Roger Troutman and Zab, Ready for the World, Lisa Cult Jam, the LA Dream Team.
And who was we?
The group Reality.
Okay, so y'all stayed together.
Yeah, we were still together.
Moved around together.
Right, we were still together then. And I know eventually somebody, because Roger Troutman wanted to sign us to his label. And we was talking about that, you know, we was working on that and everything, but, you know, we had some in-house problems with the group, you know, concerning management, all that type of thing. The manager that they wanted to manage them, I didn't want to manage me because that manager didn't have no manager.
Business problems.
Right. You know, that person was just trying to get in where they fit in, and because they know this is a big thing here. And, and it just tripped me out because I'm the one who put it all together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny how people want to come in and try to take over what you created.
Now, at 19 years old, I'm assuming you're dealing with older people.
Yes.
At 19 years old, how is it that you are seeing through some of these ways?
I mean, it's just...
It's a long time ago. I know that's a specific question, but something had to stand out where they just told on themselves. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you're trying to do something that you have no experience in, that's obvious to see. Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, I made a lot of mistakes too. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of arrogant, big-headed, you know.
You were 19. That's what 19 years old.
19-year-old act, right? Yeah. Well, I'm guilty.
Yeah, you're guilty of being 19.
I'm guilty of being 19. So I just kept doing my thing, and then in, you know, 1987, I did a song called Feel My Wrath. Man, I wish I'd have done it the original way, because it had that rock guitar in there. That sucker was a monster. Yeah. And Guy Brody them and the guy from D&D Records loved it so much. That's why he wanted to come sign me up, you know, so. But I didn't do it that way. I did it a different way, and you know, and I regret it. And I also regret one thing. I remember when Manny was in the studio with me, and I was working on it, you know, trying to, here comes the arrogance, right? So I'm in there, boom, 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 doing it. And Manny said, maybe you should do it. And I said, man, I got this.
For everybody out there, Manny Fresh.
Manny Fresh, yeah.
Who might have known a thing or two at the time.
Right. Thanks for saying that. Manny Fresh, right. And I that's the biggest regret I ever had, because he was only trying to help me.
Sure.
By me being arrogant, thinking I got this and I know what I'm doing, I kind of brushed him off.
Yeah.
You know? That's the only thing I regret with
That's a fine line to walk, man, because we all try to be independent as artists. As artists, we're trying to express ourselves.
Right.
So it's hard to let other people collaborate. You know what I'm saying? If you got a vision, it's a hard sell for somebody to come in and say, no, maybe your vision isn't your vision. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. I wouldn't hold that as a regret.
Oh,
That's part of growing up. That's part of figuring out things, you know. Tell us about Manny Fresh, because I mean this goes everywhere, but it started in New Orleans. This website, this podcast, this video channel, YouTube channel. So I mean, a lot of people out there, fans, are going to want to hear about how things started with Manny Fresh, how you knew him.
I met Manny through this cat they call B-Lo. You know, he's doing Southern Soul now, called the Bruce Wayne Project or something like that. But B-Lo, just to get back to him, his real name is Bruce Moore, and I'm gonna take us back. I'm gonna skip for a minute. I'm gonna skip back just a little bit.
All right.
He was my dancing partner, him and my little cousin, Alan Charles.
Okay.
B-Lo lived in Ardenwood Apartments, and my cousin lived across the street in Burr Station. And, you know, we had a little dancing group. You know, we put a little dancing group together. And it was either late 83, which I'm thinking it probably was, or early 84. It was in between that time. And we were a group. And we would go to places and perform and stuff, and we would do a routine ourselves, and then they would do a little routine together, him and AC, and I would get on the mic and rap, right? So I remember one time when I got off the mic, Bruce B-Lo, he looked at me and said, man, I want to learn how to rap. That's what I want to do. I want to learn how to rap. So I told him, well, you know, just start off learning how to rhyme. Just rhyme, just practice rhyming. Once you get your flow together, once you develop your flow, then you can write what you want to write about. I said, but you got to develop that flow. Yeah. That's why I said you got to just practice rhyming. You develop. So, you know, and eventually, you know, we split up too. We stopped doing that little thing, but then he pursued with the rap. That's when he started with the rapping. And so, you know, I ain't going to say years, but, and now he, you know, from I'm trying not to jump to the future, but back then that's how he got started. Let me just say that, through me.
And so he was kind of the medium between you and Manny, meeting Manny Fresh.
That was later on. That was in '87.
Right. So you had a history with this cat that knew Manny, and then you eventually met Manny.
Well, he didn't know Manny then when we first hooked up.
Sure.
You know, we were young. You know, we was boys. I used to hang with him. We was boys. He met Manny around '87 too. You know what I'm saying? And he told me Manny was his DJ. So that's how we got, because I always knew him. And when we all got the deal, you know, Manny came to the studio with us in '87, C Saint recording studio.
C Saint, okay.
Yeah.
What project were y'all working? Were y'all there to work on a specific project?
We was working on our singles.
Just getting time over there?
We was working on our singles. Okay. I was working on my song called Feel My Wrath, and B-Lo and them was working. They changed their name to the Biting MCs. So they was actually...
I don't know
my
about
bad,
that.
Dog, but it's funny. It's funny then. It's funny now.
Yeah.
Like for example, they took the Beastie Boys song, "Rats, Monkey," and they kept the beat, the music and everything. They just named it something else and was singing the same rhythm. I just can't remember the words they were saying, but I remember when they did the LL song over, "I Need Love."
I Need Love.
They called it "I Need Money." Money. So they did them two songs. They did two songs. You know, I actually did one, but. They were called the Biting MCs, you know, and and then had Star and Celebrity. I put this female group together. One was from Scotland, one was from Baker, and I gave them their names and everything. And then eventually D&D signed them up.
Is that somebody that was working out of C Saint with y'all at that time?
No, the girls weren't there.
Okay.
The girls got signed up later. See, I got signed up first, and then B-Lo them got signed up.
Through who?
Through Guy Brody to D&D Records.
Okay.
To D&D Records from out of Los Angeles.
Gotcha. So you were at C Saint recording work
for D&D
to send
Records.
them. Got you. Okay. And you said that was one song, 2 songs?
I did 1 song. They did 2 songs. But yeah, that's what it was at the time.
I got you. And so did y'all's paths cross again, you and Manny Fresh?
After that, nope.
That was just a chance. That was a chance meeting, though.
We crossed paths again because when they got signed, you know what I'm saying? When they come and do shows down this way, whatever, I was still with D&D. So when wherever Manny Fresh and them performed at, we was there.
Gotcha. Being on the same label.
Yeah, with them because I was,
Gotcha.
Okay. I might have didn't perform, but I was there.
Yeah.
I was even there at a time when one of my boys that I knew, grew up with, his sister was wild, hot in the ass. Right? I'm sorry. But that's what she was. And she went in there with Manny and Gregory D and them, and they ran a train on her.
Oh.
And when she come out of there, when her brother found out that she was up in there and they was in there running a train on her, he was outside crying like he wanted to kill him. Man, Gregory D and them, right? So, but that's what she wanted. She and I think about 3 or 4 was in there running the train on her. And so when she came out of there, she seen her brother. She yelled rape.
Right.
She hollered rape.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and the police came, took Manny and them to jail, Gregory D and them, and David Moses bailed them out. As soon as they went in, they got to the process, and they bailed them right on out, you know what I'm saying? But then eventually the girl dropped everything because she knew she was wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Manny and them came out good on that. And,
what was your time like with D&D? What were you able to accomplish through them? Did they help you out?
D&D screwed me, man.
No helping whatsoever.
D&D screwed me, man. They made a lot of money off of me, man, and off of the artists. See, as far as I'm concerned, Star and Celebrity were a group that I put together. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get no finder's fee or nothing for them. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one day my boy hit me up. He was a DJ from somewhere. He was from Michigan, Detroit, or somewhere like that. But he was going to Southern University, and he was a popular DJ at the clubs down here at the time. And he just hit me up one day. He said, "Hey man," he called me. He said, "Man, look, come over here. I got to show you something." So I rushed over there, and boom, he lived in Mall City at the time. So I went to Mall City, and he showed me. Back in the day, they had these music books or whatever. Then they show the song, what songs are doing good where, and all that type of stuff.
Okay, like charts, Billboard charts.
Right. He had one of them books, and he just took it and he just sat in front of me and he pointed, and I seen my song, and then right across it tells you how many units it moved. Right.
Polestar.
Yeah.
Probably a Polestar magazine.
I was number 4 on the chart, and when I looked inside, it said 75,000 units. Right. So, and that was just in Buffalo, New York. That was just in Buffalo. I don't know where else. Yeah. And I'm sure they released that song in many places. You know what I'm saying? And then they made 75,000, and that was like in a week's time. And my boy was like, "Man, you need a lawyer." You know what I'm saying? And I never confronted them people. I mean, it was just never nothing until, I don't even know if David Moses is still alive or not. But I know Swamp Dogg is. Swamp Dogg is the one who started off MC Breed's. MC Breed career. You heard of MC Breed?
MC Breed, yeah.
He was the first one that had as a solo artist, when Pop became a solo artist, he was the first one to get Pop on a duet type thing, a feature. But MC Breed, Swamp Dogg and David Moses were the 2 cats behind D&D. But Swamp tries to pretend like it's just me and David. I said, "No, it was you 2. And he put Breed out, but Breed made him a millionaire. MC Breed made him a millionaire. And
so things kind of went south with your time at D&D. And eventually, I'm guessing you figured you had to part ways, but just do your own thing.
Yeah, I also wanted to say, when I was with D&D, they had a group called High Five. People know who I'm talking about. They were signed to D&D at one time. So we were all actually label mates, you know, but their manager worked hard for them, and then they got away from D&D, and they got a major little deal, and Teddy Riley produced them, and I was tripped out because I had, after that, I had took a break. After the D&D stuff and all that stuff, 88, I went home in 88. I went back home to New York, and when I got home, I think the next year in 89, it was one of them years, I think it was late 89, I see High Five, you know, with the kissing game. They blowing up. You know, like, wow, I said, yeah, them cats. But anyway, you know.
Water under the bridge.
I took a break, went home in 88, stayed there for 3 years.
What, during your time there, did anything have you itching to get back into doing music? Because I think people leave the game sometimes, but they never really leave music in their mind or their heart. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't give up on the music when I went back home. I was just tired of where I was.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to take a break from that. And when I went home, you know, I back in the studio, in my family studio, and I did a little demo. You know, I did a little demo. It was pretty cool. My cats I hung out with, they were rappers too. You know, they was same studio. They was working on their album. So what happened was they took my song. They had a meeting with this cat from Beacon that knew my mother as well, and they took my song and their material. They went down there, and I didn't go. This was a Uptown. This is Uptown Records. This is where Andre Harrell. This is where Puff Daddy come from. Everybody signed to them. Heavy D, Mary J, all them. Now, when they went there, the cat offered us a deal. They came back with 2 contracts, one for them and one for me. And right around the time, I think Father MC just got signed. Mary J just got signed. A few more of them. Jodeci just got signed. Now we could have signed too. We could have signed and just got signed, right? And but when the contracts, I said, damn, they signed these same contracts. The contracts was robbing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, wow. The contracts was just no good, right, for the artist.
So what came of it? We didn't sign, and the group itself didn't sign either.
They didn't sign either. Nah, man.
Yeah.
Nah. So, and I remember I went back home not too long ago. I hollered at my boy. I said, "Say, bro, just imagine if we'd have signed them same contract." I said, "Look at them today." I'm just saying, right? I'm like, they all blew up. I said, imagine we just signed a contract. You know, I said, we probably didn't ate for a while because they did that to New Edition.
I was about to say, it's exposure, but at what price? You never can't tell what that price is going to be.
Right. I mean, we didn't ate for doing shows. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, you know. But
you could get exposure and end up owing them. In the end, it happens to people all the time, so you just don't know what it's going to cost.
It happened to the best of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
it happened to the best of them, man. But, you know, so we could have been signed with Uptown, but we chose not to.
Yeah.
You know, that was in 89.
So at this point, how are you have any faith in the business of music?
Wow, very disappointed, man, in the business of music. I just, you know, I just kept doing my thing, and I came back, you know, in 91. I came back here in 91, and they had a talent, in 1990, they had a talent show. I came down here for the summer. I came to visit my mama. I said, you know what? I said, they had a talent show at Struma High. That's the high school I went to. I said, I'm going to go get in this talent show. I ain't got nothing else to do. So I went and I rocked the talent show, and that's what this kid named MC Nero was in the audience. He was a student at the time, or maybe he just came to the talent show. But he was young then, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm thinking he was a student. And I remember one day he approached me and he said, hey, man, I knew what I wanted to be the time I seen you rap at the Struma Talent Show. He said, he said, that's what I want to be, a rapper. He the only one really gave me my flowers, man. You know, a lot of people don't know, but now they're getting to know.
Sure.
Because of the documentary and interviews like this now. You know, so now they're getting to know who it was and what it is.
Yeah. you took a break for a while. Did it? Were you able to return? You can't unsee all the shit you saw. Put it that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna affect you moving forward, hopefully in a positive light. You know, not bitter but smarter. You know what I'm saying? A wiser person in general. Did it help you out? I mean, you went through years of problems. You know what I'm saying? But did it help you make better steps in the future?
Yes. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Let me sum it up like this. A lot of my friends are dead and gone because of choices and decisions they made.
Sure.
And that's what life is all about. The choices and the decisions you make can be fatal.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, me coming up, I was offered a lot of stuff, you know, by people. Hey, man, let me put you on, let me get you right. I kept telling them no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, that ain't, it's not, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay away from that.
Well, music kept you out of that, but the problems that you saw in music is what I was kind of speaking on. You couldn't unsee, you know, a little corruption here, or a big build-up and a disappointment here, or, you know, not quite what you were looking for with Uptown, like all these different things.
Right.
But you still kept your interest. You still harbored this interest in music. You still wanted to do it. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but for me, writing music is the one thing I've always done for no reason at all but myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need the bag to write. You want to write. You know
it's a passion.
Exactly.
I have a passion, man. I started when I was young. I was 3-4 years old. Yeah. So it was a passion, and I still got it to this day. That's why I told you earlier. I said this is not a public studio. This is in-house. This is for me and whatever I want to do and who I want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's the passion, man. If you don't have the passion, you'll give it up.
Yeah. So moving on from 91, you back down here.
Back down here.
Seen a lot, did a lot.
Right.
But you're still at square one, essentially. Right. We haven't had anybody vouch for you yet, like some other people have. What do you do? Where do you go?
Well, I mean, you know, we start this we start this record label down here. And I'm one of the artists on it. And it's called 360. That was in 92, I think, when we started that. No, it had to be 90. It was around, I guess, somewhere around there, 92, 91, 92. And we had this group called the Vibe Tribe. This time we're a live band. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm the lead vocalist, right? And we're doing our thing, man. We cut a song and all that. You know, hits the radios, get a lot of airplay, and that's where we was at that time, you know, and doing work at the studio, and I'm bringing people in and out of the studio. And
now, what style of music is this that you're doing?
This Vibe Tribe thing was different, man. This Vibe Tribe, because I had all live players, you know. I had 2 keyboard players, I had a drummer, I had a bass player, and I had a guitar player, and we was on. I wish I had the music knowledge here. We was on something different, man. But you know, people liked it. You know. And
you was singing?
And I was. Wow, what was I doing? I was doing a little of both. Yeah, it was like I was rapping a song, not like the rap style, but like a rap singing style. And then I would sing the hooks. That's what I was doing.
And this was your first time in front of instrumental?
In band?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Matter of fact, see, I forgot all about that. Back in 1980. Whoa, how long ago was that? 85, 86. I was doing a lot of little things, man. And I was in the first band I was in was called the Cat Band. That was Erica Gay-Ran, R.I.P. to Erica, R.I.P. to her brother Michael Gay-Ran. That was Claude, John, and his brother Andre, Liz, me and my boy, who was my rapping partner at the time, King B. We did like the Jackson 5 set for them. We did the rap set. And he had a set when he had to do the Jackson 5, and we do the Jackson 5 with them. you know, with the band. And we were actually part of the band, man. We did 2 different sets, 2 different shows with the band. We was traveling with the band, et cetera, et cetera. But that was back in, let me see, that had to be in 80. Wow, man, sometimes I can't be remember. But it was a long time ago. It was 84, 85, 86, somewhere around there, man. You know, but it was a while back. But that was the first band I was with.
Not quite singing R&B style or anything yet. That's later.
That's coming later.
Okay. At that point in time, you had tried out several different things. You were a dancer at one time. You were a rapper at one time. You were a DJ at one time. These were all visited for the first time for a block a few years, and then you would try something else different out.
Right.
But you never came back around to settle into one of those things. You just kept trying different things.
Yeah, right.
I got you. And so 91, you put us in 91, roughly, and you're back down home. Well, you're back down in Baton Rouge now.
Right.
And what do you find yourself doing?
I was telling you about the recording studio.
Yeah, you did some things for D&D. Didn't work out.
Yeah, that was.
And then after that, we were kind of touching on your meeting with Manny Fresh, and but we didn't get to where you go from there.
Right. Well,
because
I was
things didn't work out with D&D like you said.
Right, and then I told you I came back home.
Yeah.
Right, and I got with these cats and we formed the Vibe Tribe. We had the studio.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are there now. You're with these cats for a while. How long were you with those?
This happened. This was till 90, about 92, close to 93.
Oh, okay, so this was several years.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then I started in 93. I started recording a lot of stuff with Kuiper. You know, so like I said, I've had my hands in a lot of different stuff. And 93, then 94, I was still recording. I was recording with this cat named Chris Clay. I was recording in his studio. He was a DJ director down here. He was, you know, the A&R, the program director down here.
Okay.
And I recorded an album there, and then 95, I was, and no, 94, I went on tour too, with the Sounds of Blackness. I had turned this thing off. Excuse me.
No problem.
He powered back off again, because I thought it was off. And went on a tour with the Sounds of Blackness and CC and BB Winan. And then in 95, you know, I was just working and stuff. You know, I wasn't really tripping on the music. I already had an album done, so I was just working.
Yeah.
And
what'd you do for the Winans?
For that typical tour, we sold the merchandise for the Sounds of Blackness and BB and CC Winan. We sold the merchandise.
Gotcha.
On the tour. We stayed in the same hotel rooms with them and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, same hotel, not rooms.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Right. And so we were hands on, you know, with them.
I got you. And then you said you kind of put it down for a little while after that?
95, yeah, put it down for a little while. 96, between 95 and 96, I was working. I was a delivery driver for Southern Bell. And then I went to Atlanta in 96. I went out there for a while. Some friends I grew up with from back home that we grew up with as kids. And I went out there. They said, "Come out here, man." I said, "All right." So I went out there. I ran into this other kid who just got through producing Bobby Brown's last album. Him and this other dude that I grew up with here was producing Bobby Brown's last album. And so we hooked up. And he said he can give me a deal, I mean not a deal, but a job working for this other company in Youngstown, Ohio. So I went there and got that job. I was working out there. And, you know, I was afraid to fly. So they tricked me to get on this airplane, you know what I'm saying? And it was a big joke to them. You know, they was trying to scare me and everything on there. But that was the first and last time I ever flew. And was trying to help me get back to Atlanta for Freaknik. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to help and rush, get better. But that's what that was. And when I moved out there to Atlanta, that's when Tupac had just got killed. When I moved out there right after he got killed. And then I came back here right after Biggie got killed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So came back home, it's 97, 98. And I think that's when I went to the studio, one of my boys' studio called my boy Sean Griffin. And that was the first song I sung. It was called Everyone Finds Their Way Home. Mm-hmm. And I mean, all the gospel stations was playing it down here, right? So that was a good thing. I didn't care, who played it, as long as it got played, right?
Sure.
So, I was working at Southern University. I was working in the kitchen at the time when I was doing that. And let me see, 99, that's when 97, I met my ex-wife. And got married in 99 and
what were you able to do with the single hitting the radio?
I mean, it was just getting played. I wasn't really pushing it, it was just getting played. I was in love and stuff at that time, and I wasn't really tripping on the music, but they was giving me airplay, so I was enjoying the moment,
Sure.
And like I said, I was married, I was in love, and me and her was doing things and going everywhere and, just having fun, just having a good time. And I was raising a family because she had like 4 children. Mm-hmm. They weren't all children, but she had 4,
A lot of things take a backseat to such responsibility.
Yeah, and in 98, I started working for Mystical, Michael Tyler. I was doing pre-production for him. I brought him he had a writer's block. Mm-hmm. And I brought him out of his writer's block. My tracks brought him out of writer's block. Yeah. And that's how we hooked up. You know what I'm saying? I used to live in these apartments over there off of Sherwood, what they call Southern Boulevard. I can't even remember, but I met him there, and we clicked up. I seen him pull up, and my little niece told me, she said she seen Mystical one day, and he was driving a brown and cream color, what's them trucks called? A Lavin, what are they called? A Lavin. That's so crazy, I can't even remember. But anyway, he had that type of vehicle.
Like an SUV, like a Land Rover?
Land Rover, not a Land Rover. It was he had a Land Rover when I was dealing with him. Land Cruiser.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking of. The Land Cruiser, he had that cream and brown Land Cruiser. And my niece said he had that no limit on his neck. Yeah. So I'm just, I walk from the back apartments, like just the front, you walk in, and then I'm in the second apartment. So, I'm coming out like I normally do every time of the day. I come out there, and I see him pull up. And then I'm just looking, and I see the big old chain flashing, he got the thing wrapped around his head.
Always.
Yeah, right. So he jumped. Yeah, so he jumps out. I said, hey, man, is you Mystical? He said, yeah, man, what's happening? I said, look, bro, I know you're a busy dude. I ain't tripping on you. I said, but I got some tracks, man. Come check them out, man. You might like them. He said, what apartment you in? So I told him, excuse me. He said, as soon as I get through getting my hair braided, come holler at you. I ain't believe him. I was like, okay, all right, cool, that's what's up. So the chick that he was in that situation with, that he went to jail behind, Paula, that's who was braiding his hair. Paula lived in the front of where I lived. So she was braiding his hair. And so I'm, I used to tell my people, my ex-wife, everybody, I said, see that boy right there? One of his songs come on, or if he by his own self, or he had No Limit. I said, I'm gonna work for that boy one day. Yeah. I said, because he reminded me of me when I was young. The raspy and so they laughed at me. They would just laugh at me. So my ex-wife, she came home, and I told her, I said, somebody's coming here the day that I told you I was gonna be working with one day. And I told her, she said, who? I said, Mystical. She started laughing at me, right? So she on the phone with her sister clowning me. Like, oh, girl, this fool in here talking about Mystical coming over here. And
beautiful.
And open up the door for him when he get here and all that. She was just clowning me, right? I said, all right, then, that's cool. So I think I jumped ahead, but Mike eventually came to the apartment, right? And his little brother with him. So he come to the apartment, and I had these old tracks on cassette tapes that I did in Youngstown.
Okay.
Back in 96, 97. And, you got the cassette tape, got the noise and the
Sure. Sure.
So he come in, I didn't think he was coming, but he showed up, and I put the cassette in, hit play, and all I seen next was he do this when he get ready to get in his zone. With the 12 in his neck. Oh, zero. God damn, boy, there you go, man. And they just started doing that shit, And the boy, this and go over there,
He caught your spirit.
He came just running it. And man, that dude grabbed me, man, hugged me like I was a brother. He said, oh man, I'm out of my writer's block. And he said, dog, what are you doing around 3 o'clock, 3:30? I said, no, I'm gonna be here. He said, man, is it okay if I come back and bring my old lady with me? Boom, boom, boom. I said, yeah. He said, man, I need to talk to you. I need to holler at you. He left there, he was so excited, he gave me another hug. Boom, boom. Brother would hug me, boom, boom, right? That type of thing. And he was just trying to hear him as he leaving. He said, oh man, this dude just helped me come out of. He was talking to his brother, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pumped up. Because I'm like, oh, it's on now. I'm pumped up. I try to tell them, right? So skip back to my ex-wife, she comes home. So I'm telling her, I'm letting her know, she crying. She don't believe nothing I'm telling her. So she on the phone, she's still calling me. I'm in the living room. Ding dong. I said, baby, get the dough. Now you get the dough. Anybody, that type of stuff. Hostile with me. Hey, more Misco like that dough. You get the dough, just hostile. So I'm laughing. I said, come on, baby, get the dough. Girl, let me open up this dough, because this boy here just plays so much. I wish he would hurry up and get with Misco so he can just, that type of thing. She was running it like that. Yeah. And man, she opened up that dough, and her whole face expression just fell. And she turned around and looked at me, and when she looked, she was like, that type of thing. I said, let the people in, right? That's what I'm telling her, let the people in. She said, oh, I'm sorry, y'all come on in. And they saying hi, introducing themselves to her and all that. So she shut the door, they got their back to her, they walking towards me, she all behind them. Just going crazy. Just got me just literally going
180,
crazy. Yeah. Woo! Man, can you imagine the loving I was getting after that? And I'm not talking about sexual. I'm just talking about that confident, knowing that my man said he gonna do something, and he doing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I clown him real hard today. Just all them other days. So that respect level really kicked in on her. So they came in, sat down. She gonna come over there and sit down with us. So she come in there and sit down. She's still just kind of just blown out the way right now, and she hear everything we talk about. You know what I'm saying, from beginning to end. And after that happened, and they left and everything. Oh my God, she was on the phone with every.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. What was he looking for at the time? What was he trying to find?
He wanted me to be his go-to man doing his production, his pre-production. Okay. Yeah. He was like, hey man. So I was like, shouldn't we have some type of agreement? So we signed something saying that, I'm doing this pre-production for you, and if any ideas you come up with, if you want to use any of my stuff, that I will be compensated for, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I fell for the okie doke, but at the time I had nothing to lose, because he was like, man, I'm mystical, man. I should have known him when he said that. I should have said, yeah, we need to sign something. Yeah. Right. But he started running that to me, man. I don't steal, man. I'm mystical. I don't steal, all that type of stuff. So I said, okay, I took a chance anyway. But what I messed up was, when I was giving him the music at first, I wasn't protecting myself with it. I wasn't mailing it back to myself and like that. Yeah. I started doing that later on. I mean, months and months and months, because my ex-wife was like, are you, protecting yourself with that music? And I was like, no, baby, actually, I'm not. I'm just giving it to him. And she's like, oh, no, we're going to. And that's who gave me the idea, because she was a paralegal. She said, you need to start, before you give him that music, we're going to mail it back to our own selves. It's called a lazy man's copyright. Right. So, but the ones that I gave him, I didn't do that. And those are the ones he used.
Come on.
Only one saved us when we were suing them. But the thing was, when I let the lawyers hear the tracks that I accused them of. Mm-hmm. You know, they was like flabbergasted. They was like, "Oh wow, we're gonna take your case. You know, we're gonna take that case." And you know, just to make a long story short, it was what it was, and it did what it did. And you know, I gave Mike a lot of ideas. You know, to start his own label and all that because of me. I was one that gave Mike the advice to, you know, stop crying about what's going on in No Limit. You're already a platinum artist. Do your own thing. Go get your own deal. And that's what he did. That's when he got that deal with Jive. He left No Limit and went to Jive. He started his record label. All that. He said I was going to be his main producer for his label, you know, and all that type of stuff. He went back on everything he said to me, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never trip on it.
Man. Even though you sometimes people walk away from them situations feeling like empty-handed, but I mean, inside yourself, it kind of verifies yourself to yourself. Like you are onto something good. You know what I'm saying? Like right. you are doing. It is what you think it is. You don't just have to think it. You know it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He even made a statement to me one time talking about. Because I remember when he came to my apartment and he seen what I was working with. Mm-hmm. I had a Ensoniq keyboard, right, workstation, and I just had a amplifier, house speakers, and a house system. And I had my Ensoniq plugged up into there, and I was making my beats, putting my beats together on workstation. And when I get through with them, you know, everything, and then I just fly them to the cassette.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And when he said, "Man, you making a big sound like that off of this?" He said, "You kidding me?" He was just amazed. Like, he was just tripped out. He said, "Man, you kidding me? You doing all them tracks on this right here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you should have been made it." You know, so I took it as a compliment. You know what I'm saying? You know, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, it was all a game anyway. You know, it was all the way he did it. You know, because all he had to do was just give me credit for what I've done or the ideas I came up with, and we'd have been good. My phone keep coming back on. It's crazy.
It's got a life of its own, man.
That's crazy. Why my phone keep coming back on? I ain't supposed to be doing that.
When you walked away from that situation and you come out of it maybe with a little more sense of validity or believing in yourself, I guess. What do you look for next? Like, what are you looking for at this time?
At this time, man, you know, I'm much older now. I'm 56 years old, man. I'm just really trying to be backdoor, you know what I'm saying, behind the scene, doing a lot of things. You know, I'm looking for producers to hire for my label. I'm looking for artists. I'm looking for engineers. You know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to set it off to where the entrepreneurship can really kick in. And I have a company called Cotton Enterprises, and those are enterprises within an enterprise. And you know, I mean, those are companies within the enterprise. And you know, I'm just just trying to do things, man. Just trying to maintain. Sure. You know what I'm saying? You know, got the podcast show, Soul to Soul. I done did some interviews already, but I'm about to kick it back off. Other than that, I'm really just trying to make some things work, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And your interest lies now in production mainly, or management? Where do you see yourself?
Wow, because right now I'm doing everything still myself. So you can just say all of the above.
Yeah.
You know.
Mr. Cotton featuring Adlib is something that I caught online. You got tracks of that online too. You want to tell them about that?
Well, this album is really called Show You How to Love. It's just that Adlib is featuring on the song Show You How to Love.
Okay.
And he is on a few songs on there. I have various artists on a lot of them songs. I have different artists on there with me and stuff. Yeah, this is my latest album. It's got 20 songs on there. Just in time for Valentine's Day. Show You How to Love.
Very nice.
You know, right? If they purchase an album, a CD, they get a free autograph poster. You know, this is my latest project. I'm just, just trying to make it do what it do.
On here, you are mainly singing?
No, say that again?
Are you mainly singing on here?
I'm the main singer on this album, but I have other artists featured on a lot of the songs on there.
You're not doing any rapping at all on this album. It's just vocals.
No, there's one rap song on there.
Okay, that's what I was getting.
Okay. There's one rap song I did do that, and it's called "Bringing Back Hip Hop." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I did that not too long ago. You know,
it never left, did it?
No, it never went anywhere.
Okay, no. But you sort of gravitated more towards singing at this point. That's the mainstay on the album.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As far as instruments and musicians.
Well, I play the trombone, but I haven't played it in a while. And if I'm in the studio, I can play keyboard,
okay.
That. But other than that, I don't really play instruments.
So this is all, how are you composing all of this is what I'm getting at. Do you have musicians on the album?
Yeah, I got, I'm using various other people's tracks, artists, other producers' tracks, and I'm using a few old school tracks in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I, before we started recording, talked about basically trying to find some new talent to help shuttle along and I guess bring to fruition albums and start to tour and things like that.
Yes, sir.
So everybody look out. Where can they find you to get in touch to see about doing things with you?
They can find me on Facebook at Darnell Cotton. I got 2 pages. They can find me on Instagram at Cotton Darnell or Darnell.Cotton. Mm-hmm. They can find me on YouTube as Mr. Cotton and 100% Cotton. And that's about it. If I give them a phone number, I give them a number where they can reach me if they're interested in being part of Grind Time Entertainment. They can submit their demos. I can give them my email address or whatever.
All right, we'll put the link on that in the article. Okay. And last, I didn't want to leave out Diamonds in the Dirt. Okay. I wanted you to talk about that for a minute.
All right, Diamonds in the Dirt. They can see that on Tubi. It's streaming on Tubi for free. It's on Apple TV, it's on Google TV, it's on Prime Video, it's on a whole bunch of spots. And they're doing this big campaign now across the nation now. I think it was the documentary of the year on Tubi this year, or last year was one of them. And Diamonds in the Dirt is talking about how rap got started in Baton Rouge. Who was the first one to do it? Where did it come from? And that's basically what it is. So when they watch Diamonds in the Dirt, they're going to talk about this person and that person, and then after that person, they're going to start telling you about who's the first first rap song that came out down here. Excuse me. And that first rap song, they're talking about the group I had. And
nice.
they're introducing us on there, who we are, and this and that and that. And talking about Raw Shield, they show the studio, the inside. They interview Kuiper. Kuiper is talking on it. I'm talking on it. Greg Dukes is speaking on it. And it's just basically letting them know that, the group Reality was the first ones to put a record out.
All right. So they're covering a span of time, but it's in the beginning.
It's in the beginning.
Got you.
Because we was the first. They're going in order.
Yeah, well, that's great, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm going to get the link to that too, and I'll include that at the end of the article as well, so they can go check that out.
That'd be nice.
Really good, man. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man.